È un piacere per noi essere qui con voi questa sera. I'm sorry, that's all I can say in Italian, but I tried. Mille grazie, I can say as well. Are you all okay with me speaking English? Yes. Mille grazie. So, I'm actually from Germany, or we're both from Germany. Our office is based in Frankfurt, and we are looking after the German-speaking markets, Italy and France. I also want to say I used to live in Australia. I used to live in Australia for 10 years. I'm also Australian. I've got an Australian passport, so I'm really into the whole Australian scene. And I'm very, very happy, not only as person Victoria, but also as an Australian German, to give you a little bit of an overview about Australia. Has anyone been to Australia? Here, 1, 2, 3. Oh, Pete, you've been to Australia. How funny is that? Melbourne is the second biggest city in Australia, and you probably know there's a lot of competition between Sydney and Melbourne. I think it's similar, is it here, Rome and Milan? Can you say that? In Germany it's Düsseldorf and Cologne, so it's either Sydney or Melbourne. Sydney got the beautiful harbour bridge and the Opera House. Melbourne got a lot of depth. Melbourne is really a bit underground. It's not obvious. You land there, you go into the city, you think it's great. You really have to experience it. It's a very cosmopolitan city. It's very, very trendy. Like most of the designers in Australia are from Melbourne. There are a lot of little boutiques. The shopping, I used to live in Sydney. We went to Melbourne to go shopping. There are, I don't know how many coffee shops, and they say the coffee in Melbourne is the best you can get out of Italy. I want to show you a few images of the nature once you get out of Melbourne. You all know Australia is an enormous country. It's as big as Europe without Russia, so that always sort of gets the picture right. But in Victoria, because we're the smallest state on the Australian mainland, everything is rather close. Generally, I'm a big fan of Australian beaches because this is normal. You know, you've got one beach next to the other and there are hardly any people. It's beautiful sand, it's beautiful waves, water, very fresh, not like a, you know, a Maldives beach, but very, very nice and relaxed and beautiful water and surf. And of course, the national parks. In Victoria, we're only 3% of the landmass of Australia, but we've got 30% of the national parks. And this is just my personal highlight. That's Wilson's Prom National Park. It's the most southerly point of the Australian mainland. If you come to Melbourne and to Victoria, you really can experience that. I'm a big, big fan of Australian food. It's very fresh, a lot of local produce, so you've got all, I mean, it's surrounded by the sea, so seafood is a given. But also the vegetables, everything is freshly prepared. And as I said, in Melbourne, we've got 3,000 different restaurants. It's all mixed, like the influences. You've got a lot of Asian influence, you've got a lot of European, like Italian, French. Now, what do people expect? What do you expect when you hear Australia? It's kangaroos. I mean, you mentioned it before. Kangaroos, koalas. Lots of people do come to Australia for the first time. They travel around the standard icons and they only see kangaroos and koalas in a wildlife park.